And so I think that all of us actually know that that very first Thanksgiving was celebrated in the year 1621. And it was a celebration by the pilgrims of the bountiful crop and surviving their first year here in America and surviving a really devastatingly cold winter. And so it was 3 days of celebration, 3 days of celebrating and feasting and prayer. And so today we all know that story about the pilgrims, but I don't think that's why any of us actually celebrate Thanksgiving today. I think that today we celebrate Thanksgiving as a holiday of remembering and of honoring and of holding dear the people that we love, our families and our friends, and it's a celebration of that when we're together. I think that Thanksgiving is also a day to remind us of how grateful we are for the blessings that we have in our lives and to celebrate the good that we have in our lives. And so Thanksgiving has always been one of my very favorite holidays. And I think it's one of my favorites because it's all about connection and gratitude. It's not about giving and it's not about getting. It's really about being in the experience of the fullness of life and being in the experience of enoughness and of gratitude and of love. And so I think it's really amazing that this holiday is entirely a secular holiday, yet to me it feels so sacred. And I think it feels sacred because we all have this soul longing to remember that presence of opulence that we live in, to remember that one is everywhere that we are and that it is unfolding in our lives, and to remember that we are one with that presence. We long to remember and to evoke that experience of gratitude because in that gratitude we have this sense of coming home to our spirits and coming home to the truth of the opulence of life, coming home to our own open-heartedness. And that feels so good. Coming home to our own spiritual nature and coming home to the fullness of life. And so I read a story that I'd like to share with you, and it was by Oprah. And she says, she's talking about keeping a gratitude journal, and I think we all know about that, keeping a gratitude journal and writing down every day a list of things that you're grateful. And so she says, for years, I've been advocating the power and pleasure of being grateful. I kept a gratitude journal for a full decade without fail, and I urged you to do the same. Then life got busy. My schedule overwhelmed me. I still opened my journal some nights, but my ritual of writing 5 things down I was grateful for every day started slipping away. Here's what I was grateful for on October 12th, 1996. A run around Florida's Fisher Island with a slight breeze that kept me cool. Eating cold melon on a bench in the sun. A long and hilarious chat with Gail about her blind date with Mr. Potato Head. Sorbet in a cone, so sweet that I literally had to lick my fingers. Maya Angelou calling and reading me a new poem. A few years ago, when I came across that journal entry, I wondered why I no longer felt the joy of simple moments. Since 1996, I had accumulated more wealth, more responsibility, more possessions. Everything, it seemed, had grown exponentially, except my happiness. How had I, with all my options and opportunities, become one of those people who never had the time to feel delight? I was stretched in so many directions, I wasn't feeling much of anything. Too busy doing. But the truth is, I was busy in 1996 also. I just made gratitude a daily priority. I went through the day looking for things to be grateful for, and something always showed up. Recently, in the process of building a television network, I got so focused on the difficulty of the climb that I lost sight of being grateful for simply having a mountain to climb. Only when I began feeling gratitude for the opportunity to serve a new audience in a new way did a shift happen. Viewers started saying the most amazing things that aligned exactly with my vision of what OWN can be. My life is still crazy busy. Today, though, I'm continuously grateful for having the stamina to keep going at this pace. The difference is I'm back to journaling electronically. And whenever there's a grateful moment, I note it. I know for sure that appreciating whatever shows up in your life changes your personal vibration. You radiate and generate more goodness for yourself when you're aware of all you have and not focusing on your have-nots. When we are in gratitude, it changes everything. It changes our experience of life. It reminds us of how grateful we are and how blessed we are, and that appreciation becomes a filter of blessedness. We start seeing through that filter of how blessed we are and how many blessings we have in our life, and that grows. And being in that experience of appreciation reminds us of the fact that we are immersed in this field of good. That we are immersed in and live in the kingdom of heaven right now. And that kingdom is within us. We feel that in our gratitude. And that it is all around us, and we notice that when we are in gratitude. And so gratitude takes us into that experience of joy, and it becomes an avenue through which we may revel in the magnificence of life, and an avenue through which we may revel in the good that fills our lives. Do you know that the word appreciate actually means to increase the value of? When we appreciate things in our life, it increases our experience of their value. We feel their value more. It also expands our feelings of appreciation and blessedness and our perception of the richness of life. And so Melody Beattie, who is an author and has written a bunch of self-help books, says, gratitude turns what we have into enough and more. And so the title of my talk today is A Cornucopia of Gratitude. And I'm talking about Thanksgiving, this holiday, using Thanksgiving as a celebration, as an invitation, as a reminder to celebrate the good that we have in our lives, to pause and to reflect on the abundance of good that fills our lives and that surrounds us and that is available to us. I'm inviting you to use it as a catalyst to take you to your own open-heartedness, as a catalyst to take you to that place of living with a full heart, that place that your soul longs to be, that place in celebration and recognition of the good. And perhaps for you, you have some inner conflict about celebrating the good in your life and about celebrating this Thanksgiving with all the things that are going on in our world right now. Perhaps you have conflict of celebrating the good when fires are still burning in the state and when we've just had shootings and with people experiencing loss. Perhaps you think it's selfish to celebrate the good in your life when other people are having a hard time. Perhaps you think it's selfish to be grateful for what you have in your life when other people are experiencing loss. But being grateful doesn't mean you don't care. Being grateful doesn't mean you don't care. It would be like if your best friend was going through a divorce, and because your best friend was going through a divorce, you decided not to love your spouse. Or because your friend was going through a divorce, you decided not to be happy in your relationship. It doesn't have anything to do with the other. When you are grateful and when you are in joy, what happens is you are adding light to the world. Do you get that? When you are in gratitude and you are in love, it raises your vibration, and it raises the vibration of the people that are around you. It raises the vibration of the other people that you are sitting at the Thanksgiving table with, and it raises the vibration of the whole room when you're in gratitude for what you have. It lifts your vibration. We forget sometimes, I think, that we live in this collective consciousness, in this field or this pool of the collective consciousness of humanity. Every single time you love, every single time you are in gratitude, every single time you share, you raise the vibration of the whole, because we are all interconnected with each other. Because we all live in this field of mind and this energy of the collective. And that is what you're being called to do. To raise the vibration of the collective. And you do that every time you love, and every time you're in gratitude, and every time you share yourself, and every time you're kind, and every time you reach out. You're raising the vibration of the whole. We are called to tip the scales. We are called to tip the scales of peace and of love and of creating heaven on earth now. Love is being called for. Gratitude is the energy of love. And so think about that for a second. Think about someone that you love and feel what that feels like inside of you. And now think of something that you're grateful for and feel what that feels like inside of you. Isn't it exactly the same? It's the same vibration, gratitude and love. And so if you are called to do more than just be grateful as a way of bringing peace into this world, or a way of bringing harmony into this world, or as a way of bringing equality into this world, if you're called to do something else, do that also. And so there was a letter on the minister's listserv that was about the fires in the campfire in Paradise, and so I'd like to share this with you. She says, this is from the minister in Reading. The Reading newspaper this morning was all about the campfire in Paradise. You can get the stats elsewhere, but here is an update about those impacted. About 52,000 residents have been evacuated. As of Friday, there are 631 people still missing. Teeming masses of people are living outdoors, many in tents near their vehicles or in their vehicles in every parking lot available. Emergency shelters have been set up everywhere possible, including schools and fairgrounds. State and federal agencies are working hard to get people into indoor shelters so they are safe, but the amount of vacant housing is low. Food trucks have come in from many areas to help provide food. Verizon offers free phone charging stations. Computers have been donated for internet access. Medical services have been brought in, as well as portable toilets set up in most locations. Volunteers are taking trash to landfills. Some homeowners and businesses are offering places to take showers. Piles and piles of clothing and blankets, etc., are available, and in fact, the only thing that is needed by everyone is money or gift cards for gas and other personal items. Everything else is being supplied. Since the need is so great, our focus from Reading Center for Spiritual Living is helping the congregants of Center for Spiritual Living in Paradise. So many have lost everything. And so there is an invitation here. Centers for Spiritual Living is, Home Office has sent out the following information. Center for Spiritual Living centers located closest to Paradise have graciously offered to be the central location for mail delivery of any checks, Visa and gift cards that you or your members or your communities would like to send for emergency relief. And so there is one of these letters on the back table if you would like to donate. The Reading Center and the Chico Center aren't even opening them. They are forwarding them to Paradise, so that the City of Paradise, so that they can hand them out. So if you are called, and when you are called to do something more, you do that. And being in gratitude and being in love also count. They also make a difference in this world. Your love and your gratitude count also. And so Alan Cohen tells a story that says, one evening I received a phone call from my friend Cliff, a Jewish guy from Brooklyn who discovered A Course in Miracles and became a world-class love exuder. Cliff just went around finding good and beauty in everyone he met. On the phone, Cliff told me, I just called to tell you how much I love and appreciate you. Well, thank you, Cliff, I answered, delighted. I really appreciate that. What prompted you to call me at this moment? Cliff says, my knee was hurting me, and I knew the only way I could feel better would be to be in gratitude and to give more love. So I began to think of the people in my life of who I am grateful for and I care about, and you came to mind. When we are in gratitude, it shifts our experience. When we are in gratitude, we open ourselves up to receiving more good because it changes our vibration so that it matches the good. Complaining and bellyaching doesn't match that vibration of the good that we want in our lives. Gratitude and love match that vibration. And so, Thanksgiving is the perfect opportunity to celebrate the good that you have in your life. It's the perfect opportunity to celebrate good, just the principle of good itself, as a reality and as a fact. It's the perfect opportunity to celebrate that source from whence all good comes. To celebrate the fact that we live in this field of infinite good and that that's the very nature of life. That good is the activity of the divine unfolding itself in our lives. Unfolding itself as all that is. And so we can be grateful for specific things that we have in our lives, and we can be grateful for just the fundamental reality of things like peace and love and beauty and wholeness and abundance and life itself. And so what are you grateful for today? What are you grateful for on this Thanksgiving holiday? You have a little insert in your bulletin that says, I am grateful for, and has numbers 1 through 10. And so I invite you to take that out right now. And if you need a pen, to raise your hand, and Colleen will hand you a pen. You can have my insert. Or yes, you can use your notes. Yeah, and if you don't have one of those little inserts, I think we have extras that were in the back. All right, and so what I want you to do is just to close your eyes for a second. And to reflect on that good that fills your life. The good that fills your life. What are you specifically grateful for? Are you grateful for home? For relationships? For friendships? Are you grateful for particular opportunities that you have in your life? Are you grateful to be living here in the United States? Are you grateful to be living at this time in history? Are you grateful for your body and the way that it serves you? Are you grateful for particular qualities like peace or health or renewal or your ability to choose or love? What are you specifically grateful for? And so I invite you to open your eyes and to write down 10 things. And so Meister Eckhart, who was a 14th century mystic, says, if the only prayer you say in your whole life is thank you, it would suffice. It puts us in that place of our spirit and of our open-heartedness and of our connection with each other and how grateful we are for this thing called life. How grateful we are to be incarnated here on this planet and to be celebrating the good. And so my invitation to you is to revel in the good and to recognize and celebrate the good that you have and the good that is available in potential, and that good is the very nature of this universe. To revel in your gratitude, not just at this Thanksgiving holiday, but every day. To let gratitude be a spiritual practice for you. And to use this holiday as a way of celebrating that and as a way of kicking that off. And so Yvonne made us a gratitude jar. She's going to come walk up, and I invite you to put your blessings, those things that you are grateful for, in that gratitude jar, and that will become a part of our prayer and our blessings. Now I want you to collect them. So if you want to pass them to the center, it's a blessing jar, a gratitude jar. And then Yvonne, if you'll bring that back up here. Awesome. And so happy Thanksgiving to every single one of you as you celebrate your own life and the abundance of good that fills your life and your loved ones and your friends and your family and just this fabulous life that you're living. And so I invite you to join me in an affirmative prayer as I recognize the blessings that fill our lives. And how good it is because I recognize that every single one of these blessings is the activity of the divine presence. It is the activity of God, of love, of joy, of good. And I recognize that that presence of that infinite one is everywhere present. That it is present in its fullness throughout all of time and throughout all of space. That everywhere we go and in everything we do, that presence is right where we are. That it not only surrounds us, and it not only envelops us, but that it also fills us. For the innermost God and the outermost God are one God. And so today we celebrate this presence that fills our lives as the source of infinite abundance and as the source of a boundless good. We celebrate today in gratitude for all that we have had and all that we have now and all that we will ever have in the future. For this is the blessing of life. And we have come here to planet Earth to celebrate and to be in joy and to be in love and to be a beneficial presence in this world. And being in gratitude sets us up to automatically be that beneficial presence. For when we come from the fullness of heart and the fullness of life, we have much to give. And so I just recognize these blessings and I bless every one of these things that has been written down here, knowing that in this blessing they are magnified and they continue to unfold and they continue to uplift us and to deepen us and to move us. And they continue to stir our spirits. And so it is with a thankful heart that I give thanks for all of this. And I also speak this word right now for everyone who has been affected by the fires. Recognizing that that infinite one is right where they are. That that infinite presence of love and of good is unfolding all around them. Through every person who is volunteering and every person who is lending a hand, through every person whose heart is being called. This is the divine unfolding itself as the solutions and as the answers and as comfort and as good. And so in gratitude, I release this word into that infinite law, knowing that it is unfolding itself even now. And I say, thank you, God, for this. And I say, and so it is.